the weight of a whisper. The house was too quiet, the kind of silence that presses against your eardrums like a hell breath. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the unopened envelope on the counter, its edges frayed from weeks of being shoved aside. My fingers trembled as I sliced it open, revealing the credit card statement. $30 for 72.19 in debt. My heart lurched, not just from the number, but from the charges. Weekend getaways to places I'd never been, jewelry I'd never seen, restaurants I couldn't afford. Sarah's name was on the account, but these weren't her usual purchases. They weren't us. I'd been rationalizing for months. The late night she called work dinners. The way her phone buzzed at 2 a.m., her quick fingers silencing it before I could ask. The perfume on her scarf. Sharp, musky, not hers. I told myself it was stress, maybe a midlife crisis at 34. Sarah was my anchor, the woman who'd laugh with me over burnt toast on our first morning as husband and wife. But now, standing in our dim kitchen, the linoleum cold under my bare feet, I felt the ground shifting. Daddy! My 9-year-old, Lily, stood in the doorway, her pajama sleeves too long, dangling over her hands. Her eyes, wide and searching, caught the light from the flickering bulb above. Why's Mommy's suitcase by the door? I froze. The suitcase. I hadn't noticed it, tucked behind the couch in the living room. My pulse hammered as I crossed the house, each step heavier than the last. There it was, Sarah's black roller bag, packed tight, a plane ticket stub peeking from the side pocket. Destination, Miami. Dated yesterday. My throat tightened, a bitter taste rising. She'd said she was visiting her sister in Cleveland. Lily, go to your room, I said, my voice sharper than intended. She didn't move, her small fingers twisting the hem of her shirt. Is Mommy leaving us? Her words were a gut punch, soft but piercing. I wanted to lie, to shield her, but the truth was clawing its way out. I sank onto the couch, the worn fabric scratching my palms. My mind raced, replaying moments I'd ignored. Sarah's distracted smiles, her sudden obsession with new experiences, the way she'd pull away when I reached for her hand. I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't exciting enough. Maybe I worked too many hours at the warehouse. But the credit card statement, the suitcase, the ticket, they weren't mistakes. They were choices. The front door creaked open. Sarah stepped inside, her coat slung over one arm, her face flushed from the autumn chill. Or something else. Her eyes widened when she saw me, then flicked to the suitcase. You're home early, she said, too casual, her voice a thin veneer over something brittle. Whose charges are these, Sarah? I held up the statement, my hand steady despite the storm in my chest. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was louder than any confession. It's not what you think, she said finally, her voice low, rehearsed. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? That you're running off with someone else? That you racked up 30 grand for your little adventure? My voice cracked, anger and heartbreak tangling like barbed wire. Her eyes darted to Lily, who was still in the doorway, watching. Not now, Tom. Please. Then when? I stood, my shadow looming over her. When you're in Miami with him. Who is he, Sarah? She flinched, her hands twisting her coat. It's complicated. I didn't mean for this to happen. Didn't mean for what? My voice was a roar now, shaking the air. Lily whimpered, and I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop. Who is he? His name's David, she whispered, barely audible. From work. It just happened. The room tilted. David, her boss, the one she'd laughed about, called charming but harmless. My knees buckled, and I gripped the couch to stay upright. Every memory of her smile, her touch, felt like a lie now, unraveling faster than I could process. Lily's voice cut through the haze. Mommy, do you love him more than us? Her words were small, but they landed like a sledgehammer. Sarah's face crumpled, tears spilling, but she didn't answer. That silence was her confession. I looked at my daughter, her eyes glistening with questions I couldn't answer. The suitcase loomed behind Sarah, a monument to her betrayal. But it was Lily's words that broke me, not the debt, not the other man. My 9-year-old had seen the truth before I could, and as Sarah stood there, unable to meet my gaze, I realized the real cost wasn't the money. It was a family we'd lost, packed away in that suitcase, gone before I ever had the chance to fight for it.